morning, happy Monday, and welcome back to my channel. It's a new week in New York City at FIT, and I'm hanging in there the best I can. That's really all I can say. I am feeling just like beyond exhausted. I think this semester is like really getting to me this time. I think it's a combination of like stress, senioritis, us being so close to the end. It's a senior semester, and I just keep getting colds and keep getting sick, and it's just been like such a challenge both mentally and physically to get through it. So I'm hoping that this week I can go into it a little more energized, a little more like creatively reset, and it can be a really good week of making beautiful things. I'm putting it out there in the world. I really need that right now. I'm heading to campus now to my CAD class this morning, where we actually have another critique of all of our thesis work so far. I don't really know why. I feel like we've been having one of these like almost every other week at this point, and we've all seen each other's stuff at this point. There are no surprises. So anyway, I'm just heading to campus now to get that over with, and hopefully there'll be something fun to show you. So yeah, let's have a great day and hopefully a great week, and let's get to it.
I figured I could take this opportunity to show you what the CAD part of my thesis collection is looking like at the moment. These slides are all of my digital designs, which originally started as watercolor paintings, wax batik, and tie-dye experiments that I scanned in, put into Repeat, and color edited. And I also have swatches of all of these designs printed on some simple cotton fabric, just so I can see how they look off the computer and in the real world.
Hello again, I just finished up in class, and overall the critique went pretty well. There were pretty much no major surprises, just because, like I said, we've all seen each other's work before. So it's kind of just like recapping, sharing the things we've been tweaking, kind of asking for more advice for the next steps going forward, and I actually think I got some ideas. So, okay, tonight I have to do some computer work. Tomorrow is actually the last day of my internship, so that gives me tomorrow evening and all day Wednesday to just like work on stuff. So I'm gonna show you anything interesting that happens over the course of the next couple days, and hopefully we're gonna get a lot of stuff done. So yeah, I'll see you at home.
Before my internship, I woke up early to clean my corner of the apartment, which desperately needed some help. So I took this before video and then spent the whole morning cleaning like crazy, and then I left for work. When I got home, I not only came back to a super clean space, but I also had the absolute nicest surprise from my boyfriend Ryan. Then it was back to work. I spent the evening photographing a whole bunch of my hand-spun yarns for my thesis presentation. And of course, I had the help of my lovely assistant, Frankie. The next day, I had a very specific idea for a woven sample that required some hand-dyed yarn. So I used one of my hand-spun mini skeins and my stock acid dye solutions, and I got to work. I wanted to make a yarn that had really short color changes so that when it was woven, it would create kind of a stripy look. To achieve these short color changes, I needed my dye to be kind of thick, because a watery dye would bleed and spread, and I wanted a lot of control over the color placements. So I mixed some powdered sodium alginate into my dye solution to make it more of like a gelatinous texture, and then I dabbed it onto my yarn with a sponge brush. I was basically placing evenly spaced blocks of color around the yarn. In my head, I knew that my warp created a woven fabric that was 10 inches wide, so I placed the dye so that I'd have a repeat and a half of my colors in every 10 inches. Basically, one brown chunk, one white chunk, and half a brown chunk in every 10 inches. I know this sounds like a really precise plan, but I actually didn't measure any aspect of this and was just kind of eyeballing it because I wanted it to be imperfect. I then wrapped up this yarn in some plastic wrap just to avoid any of that brown color transferring onto the white spaces. And then I steamed the yarn for about 30 minutes. While the yarn was steaming, I prepped my warp for this sample. I'm using the exact same merino silk warp for my whole thesis project, and I'm painting it with the same stock acid dyes that I mixed with a little citric acid. For this sample, I decided to make some vertical stripes, so I placed a thick plastic sheet in my warp so that the threads I wanted to paint were on top and the threads I wanted to keep white were underneath. And then, using my sponge brush, I applied the dyes. I like using these plastic sheets because I don't have to be careful, literally at all, when I'm applying the dyes. I can just kind of slap it on, and my other warp threads stay perfectly white. And then, because I'm impatient and super eager to weave, I used a hairdryer to speed up the drying process. And I then painted the white sections yellow. And when everything was super dry, including my hand-dyed yarn, I started weaving. And now you can see the effect that my striped yarn created. I am super happy with how this sample turned out. It was exactly what my collection needed. I needed a woven sample that featured the color brown just to round out the colors of my collection, and I also needed something that referenced the zebra concept that I've been exploring in my other works. And I think this is subtly zebra in a really fun and funky way. That night, Ryan and I both decided that we needed to do something fun for ourselves, so we headed over to Yankee Stadium for a New York Yankees versus Oakland A's game. Ryan is a lifetime A's fan, and I don't know anything about baseball and was just there for a fun night out eating hot dogs, so we both had a great time.
Good morning, happy Monday. I said I was gonna do a whole bunch of work this weekend and I literally did not do anything. I wish I were joking. I literally just stayed in bed and played Stardew Valley every single day. Because honestly, that was all that I was mentally capable of. I am so beyond exhausted and just so burnt out, and I think I really just needed a weekend to recover, because this week is gonna be a little bit crazy. At least today and tomorrow are definitely gonna be, because tomorrow all of my stuff is due for the museum exhibition. So today is gonna be just about prepping all of that, getting everything ready. I'm gonna be running around, meeting with a bunch of professors, running errands, doing things like that, so I'll take you through all of it. So yeah, let's head to class.
In class, I first met with my professor, and then I started working on my official thesis presentation, which is what's gonna be shown during next week's main thesis event. I was having a bit of fun with mine, and I created a look inspired by the bulletin board in my home that I've been using all semester. I thought this theme was a fun way to reference the ideas of my collection, which is the idea of blending handicraft and digital technology. I then worked on finishing the edges of all of my handwoven samples with some clear serger thread, just so they'd look a bit more professional and polished. This process was definitely a bit scary just because I worked so hard on these samples, and the last thing I'd want to do is mess them up with a serger. But thankfully, things went well. And here's how all of my woven samples turned out. I still have a few more to make before the semester is over, but I'm really liking how these have come together so far.
Okay, I met with my professor, I went to serge my samples, now I'm gonna go to the print lab and then to blank.
I made a huge, actual-size printout of the purple version of my zebra scarf. I had this design printed here on campus using the most scarf-like fabric that they had in the lab, just so I'd have something to show with my collection by the due date. And I'm really happy with how this one turned out. Overall, this zebra scarf project ended up bringing me so much joy this semester, and it really helped bring my whole thesis collection together. If you want to see how I made this scarf, I'll leave a link to last week's vlog in this video description. And if you'd like to have a zebra scarf of your own, I'm now selling 2 versions of this design in my online shop. This purple spot variant is the final edited version of my scarf that made it into my official thesis collection. And this limited edition green spot variant is in the colors of my original silk painting. This green one is a special treat for those of you who've been following my vlogs as I publish them, so it's only going to be available for a short time and will disappear from my website after January 20th. So if you'd like the one with the bright green spots, get it before it's gone. And the one with the purple spots will be on my website forever. Both scarves are digitally printed on super soft, high quality, pure silk fabric. They're also created and shipped through an ethical, sustainable business that I adore. So if you'd like, feel free to check out my online shop, which I'll have linked in this video's description, and treat yourself to a whimsical piece of art. Thank you so much in advance to anyone who makes a purchase, and now we'll head back into the vlog.
Hello again. I did a huge part of my to-do list today. I went to class and I got feedback. I serged the edges of all of my samples, which was a stressful process, but we got it done. And then I went to the print lab to go pick up my new edited silk scarf, which I'm actually pretty happy with how that turned out. So yeah, let's go to Blick and then finish everything else on my to-do list today. Got my stack of pouches, heading back to campus where I have another appointment, and then I'm almost done.
I headed up to the textile department's office where they set up a little photo studio for us to take some professional looking photos of our thesis projects. I brought my hand-spun, hand-dyed, hand-woven silk scarf, borrowed a mannequin, and then spent a while up there taking tons and tons of photos. Then there was just one last big task on my to-do list. I needed to first iron my weavings, and then scan in all of my swatches so I'd have high quality images for my presentation.
Hello, I just finished my super long day and I feel good. I did everything and I think everything I was supposed to do turned out all right. I'm just heading home now. I have to wrap up some little paperworky things before I can officially turn in everything tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see you at home, and if nothing interesting happens, I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, happy Tuesday. I'm coming to you from an empty classroom here on campus, and I'm here because it's officially the deadline for submitting our stuff that we want to include in the museum exhibition. So I have my neon orange bag of goodies, and I'm just going to show you really quick everything that I'm turning in. So I have everything organized in these little pouches just to make things a bit easier. So the first one, I have my bag with my 2 silk scarves in it. That's my original zebra one that you saw me paint in class, and then the digital version that I spent all night hemming last night. I have my sketchbook with 3 skeins of yarn just to kind of like show some of my process, and in particular I wanted to show the page of my sketchbook that shows my dyeing recipes just because I thought that spread was really beautiful. So I have that. I have my woven scarf, which you saw me photograph yesterday. And then last but not least, I have all the woven samples that you saw me serge yesterday. So yes, this is the accumulation of all of my efforts so far, all ready to go. So yes, that's pretty much how this whole week has ended. Well, technically, okay, I think I gave you guys like a week and then this Monday and Tuesday as a little extra, but this giant turn-in is kind of like the culmination of all of these efforts. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's
definitely been a productive week of just like getting things done, and it definitely feels good to just like hand off this bag and be done with at least a majority of what I have to do. I think to finish up this whole semester, I need another like 2 or 3 pieces, and I have to do like a big portfolio presentation thing, and we have like presentations and the museum show and like all this other stuff to worry about. So the semester is definitely not over yet. So if you want to stick around and see how all of that turns out, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye!